the Giga Chad brain, kicked into overdrive, took him into the finals, and now he's already going forward. He didn't even need that rest.
Yeah, that is just the machine MrRishi is. Can just play games back to back to back. That is a true experience in him. But here we go. As we said, it is finals. I'm trying to remember a little bit what Gagbom was bringing to the event, but it looks like 𝗀𝗨. We haven't had, funny enough, I know how dominant 𝗀𝗨 has been in the past, but funny enough, in our plus tournaments, we haven't had a 𝗀𝗨 in the finals. So good on Gagbom. Even though 𝗀𝗨 did get nerfed a bit in this previous balance patch, we are still seeing it here today. Does it catch the ban though? I see MrRishi eyeing it here. I'm trying to look at overall team. That Minotaur looks pretty threatening as well, I will add.
Gagbom, it looks like he's got one of those teams that it is very, very good on the lead, no matter what. He's got late Torment 𝗀𝗨, he's got Venom spread Acronox, he's got Purgation onto Ruler. Like, he's always going to have a solid turn 1-2. But I wonder if, because Rishi has so much fuel in the tank, if maybe he won't be able to keep it going into the turn 8, 9, and 10, where Rishi still is going strong, still has HP to spare, still has speed and HKS and stamina, and Tataru is +4. You know, if Gagbom's leads, if the synergies get broken up, if he's going to be lacking some of that firepower that Rishi will still have.
Yeah, I could definitely see that coming into play. So we'll see. I am just excited for our grand finals. And you know, Rawrzyyy, we did not see anything of 𝗀𝗨 in our previous semifinals. So here we go. I'm excited. I remember Rishi was one of the first tamers to really highlight how strong 𝗀𝗨 can be. So we'll see here today just how strong he still is. Of course, looking at that 𝗬𝗨, if it does not have a strange vest, just 2 little embers might just be enough to take it all the way down. But here we go. Game number 1 of our grand finals. Gagbom with a nice little suit coming in. And here we have Rishi just coming off an epic victory over Lulu in those semifinals. Oh, this is going to be good, guys.
So for the turn 1 on Gagbom's side, he did set himself up for that late Torment, but I wonder where he targets here, because 𝗬𝗨 isn't the scariest Tem in the world for the rest of Gagbom's side, but it would be nice to take down now. I think 𝗀𝗨 doesn't die, but it is so terrifying for the future. It gets itself set up with some slingshot hook procs. It's always going to be evading with stone trenches. It's going to be destroying things like 𝗬𝗨, 𝗬𝗨, and 𝗬𝗨𝗪 with the likes of Flaming Meatball of Doom. So it's a pretty scary turn 1 for Gagbom. He does get one of his ideal leads, but he's against some very big Tems with big threats.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see, because of course 𝗀𝗨 can try to return the favor on at least the 𝗬𝗨, but 𝗀𝗨 is just a different beast. However, what if MrRishi goes for a Purgation as early as turn 1 on the 𝗀𝗨? Is that potentially a possibility? Okay, the 𝗀𝗨 does retreat because he saw potentially what was coming in. It instead would be the little old Tatter, the game-winning Tatter, if you will, but the Plague adding that exhaustion and potentially trapping in if it does have those handcuffs. Does it have it? Okay, yes, indeed. So yeah, as we've been saying, late Torment incoming. Let's see if he does indeed click it though, because this is going to be some massive damage from this 𝗀𝗨.
I feel like he has to, right? It's right there on the board. If the 𝗀𝗨 had stayed in, you did not want to risk not clicking that turn 1. Bridget, first aid kit procs back up to 40% HP, which means a Plague is not going to be enough to kill. It is going to be killing with a resin trap, I would imagine. But I don't know. Maybe this is where Gagbom turns the tables and targets 𝗬𝗨 with the exact same thing.
Yeah, I can see it, but oh, fearing that noxious bomb coming in its way, swap it into the 𝗬𝗨 of his own. So I don't really recall if this is an aerobic or anaerobic, but we'll keep our eyes peeled for it. Getting another anaerobic proc is what Rishi has in mind. So going up +4 special defense, and oh, nice little turbo choreography on both of these Temtems. But wait a second. The 𝗀𝗨 buffing up his defenses by 2, so even a major slash shouldn't be looking too terrible, or too frightening rather, against this 𝗀𝗨. Oh, I think Gagbom showcasing how Owlr really hasn't fallen too far off the top meta, right? Perhaps.
All right, now click the other one. Since there's no show off, you can totally run block toughen.
Right?
Click the other move. +8. Let's do it. Gyalis coming in, though, means Plume is on the horizon for Rishi. Owlr luckily retreating before that can happen, keeping itself just a little bit safer. But Gyalis, oh no!
A mirror
Toxic
match.
Plume and Toxic Plume, they're both losing their attack, and both of these Crystal Queens are just not going to have the damage they need to have anymore.
Yeah, I could only assume the Toxic Plume will be reciprocated for MrRishi. Oh, and instead goes for the Purgation. So bringing up the Gyalis back to base stats. Not too bad. I'm wondering, though, if Toxic Plume would have just been better in that situation. I can't really remember if MrRishi is running Toxic Plume. I don't recall if he used it before, but never mind. Making me eat my words. Toxic Plume is right there. So now you get the -2 attack on both of these Temtems. So there we go. I guess the Purgation was indeed better with the follow-up turn.
All right, now let's see another Purgation. If we're going to mirror, we're going to mirror right. Crystal Bite onto Voloran does quite a lot of damage. Crystal Bite onto Gyalis does quite a lot less, because that was pre-Purgation. So I wonder if that was Rishi reading both sides doing the same thing. So clicking Purgation first to make sure that you get that extra damage this turn. That was really well played.
Exactly right. Fantastic understanding of the of what he had to do, right? As you mentioned, you Purgation first, because the Crystal Bite from Gagbom's Gyalis didn't get full effect from that. But oh my goodness, back-to-back Toxic Plumes, making that Gyalis back down. So wait a second, Rawrzyyy, are we going to get another Purgation? He's running low on stamina, but I wouldn't put it too past MrRishi. Going for the hook kick, I don't think with that Toxic Plume is going to be enough.
Hook kick once again, except Gyalis on Gyalis violence once more. That time it did do a little bit more damage, 30% remaining on Gyalis for Rishi. I wonder, though, is Gyalis really the scariest thing here? With Owlr at +4 defense, with Rawrzyyy able to kill it relatively easy if Gyalis on Rishi's side stays at minus attack, I think Voloran might actually be more terrifying with the Purgation spamming.
Yeah, I think so too, which is why we're seeing Rishi really focus in on Gagbom's Gyalis. But oh, the Hyperkinetic Strike. Oh, doing so much damage on the Volcrane. So hey, I believe we got our answer a couple turns ago. It is indeed aerobic, but no longer here in game number 1. Let's see, is it a simple helicopter kick? I believe he already used that hook kick the following turn, and nice little Crystal Bite onto the Voloran side. So good trades all around. Rishi finding the first kill of this grand finals, but it did come at a massive cost. If we're looking at the HP remaining on Rishi's team, virtually every single Temtem remaining is down about halfway through, if not more, right? So I dare say Gagbom for sure has a bit of that HP advantage despite being down a single Temtem. And a one terrifying bear coming into play. And Voloran has a lot of special defense, but I don't know. It has no defense to his name. So is a double up from these two Temtems might just be enough to take it all the way down. We're going to find out here.
Yeah, and Owlr retreating just as quickly as it came back in for this Lawali, who does not like what's about to happen. Oh wait, never mind. It was just a plume. With Gyalis swapping back in, Lawali doesn't mind that minus attack at all, although Senior Gag definitely does not like it. -2 attack once more, helicopter kick, not going to be killing anybody. And that means even if he's able to keep his hook kick available for something like that Turok, he's probably not even getting half HP damage with a hook kick. That's going to be pretty detrimental, as now Purgations are gone for Gagbom. There's no more fixing this minus attack.
Yeah, only one purgation, as you said, and that's going to be on Rishi's side. So that could be a huge factor going on. But it looks like 𝗬𝗚 is trying to save himself down the road. In comes the little old Tattoo one more time. Is it going to be a final purgation on Tattoo perhaps? But oh, kind of running a little bit low on stamina, or rather HP. But the Noxious Bomb will be putting an end to 𝗬𝗚's time here. So that is 2 Temtems down for Gagbom. But Tattoo does get everything online. I believe he was in before, so if Held Anger was not online just yet, it will be online right now. But you know, I will never count out a tamer with a good old 𝗬𝗚, despite being nerfed or not. We're talking about still a +4 defense 𝗬𝗚. And just to try to make up for the lack of show off, it looks like a lot of people today are kind of electing to run resistance badge, right? So 13% increase on those neutral techniques, so those clinches, savage suplex, so on and so forth. So we'll see. I know Rishi does have that 10 advantage, but I don't think it's over just yet, of course.
Yeah, the bear is going to be really difficult to work through. 𝗬𝗚 coming back in once more. I wonder which one we're going to see today, with Gagbom retreating as 𝗬𝗚 for Rawrzyyy. -2 attack on both of these Tems is going to be detrimental, with the Toxic Plume, -2 attack, -2 attack. I thought the only way through was 𝗬𝗚 staying in, going for his sharp stabs, praying that it overexerts, and killing the 𝗬𝗚 before the Toxic Plume would hit. But no, instead we are minus attack all across the board now for Gagbom, and he's going to have a lot of work to do, as things like Turok definitely thrive against physical attackers that can't hit physically.
Absolutely right. I mean, 𝗬𝗚's almost had a good answer, but as you mentioned, with that 50% reduction, even a hook kick might not even do 50% because of those strong defenses from the Turok. But you know, just saving that bit of a win condition, if you will, in the Turok all the way to the bitter end. So in comes the Tattoo, and that's a speedy Tattoo at that. And as I mentioned before, we have yet to see Held Anger off this Tattoo, so it could be right here, right now. Where does he want to throw it is the question. I think the biggest threat of them all is the 𝗬𝗚. But with that double defenses on the 𝗬𝗚, you would maybe get more value off your Held Anger if you go ahead and throw it on the rotor. So I wouldn't put it too past Rishi to try to target that down just to get maximum potential.
I am a little bit surprised to see 𝗬𝗚 coming in, but I guess maybe not expecting that Gorin instead of a Stonewall on the 𝗬𝗚 spot. Clinch not going to be enough to kill 𝗬𝗚 from 42, which means we will be getting off that Stone Trench this turn, keeping itself protected for a little bit, as well as Turok doubling in on either of these spots is going to be really good damage. There's no way that 𝗬𝗚 can swap back into this board, so you know, this is a good potential kill. I wonder if Rishi's 𝗬𝗚 would have been better though, just to get the damage on Rawrzyyy, confirm that kill, and force Gagbom's 𝗬𝗚 into an awkward situation. But Stone Trench does come through, not too much damage on either side, but more importantly, it does get that evasion, as well as the Soil Steam on Rawrzyyy, not enough to get a kill. Dual Impact to pop, and Clinch potentially killing Soul Patch guy.
I believe so. The 𝗬𝗚 will be going down. And you know what? I didn't even notice. That is a comebacker 𝗬𝗚. So it looks like potentially the competitor trait of the old meta coming back into play. So good old Tardy Rush Rotor with that comebacker 𝗬𝗚, getting that. I believe it's only... Oh, I gotta look back at the trait. It used to be 30% additional damage. I believe it's not quite that high anymore, but with that Tardy Rush, the 3 priority rotor Goring will be taking down the 𝗬𝗚s. So I don't know. I think this 𝗬𝗚 might just take it home. It is not looking too good. I say that, but 𝗬𝗚 did take a good amount of damage there.
It did fight back just as hard though, and now with that exhaustion, Turok can't attack this turn. Everybody's just got to rest. And no, it's just going to be the concession to Gagbom. Too many Tems left alive. Means he does take round 1, despite having minus attack on all of them.
out our grand finals in a nice 2-0 fashion. But we did see MrRishi with the epic comeback before, so I'm pretty sure he can do it again. Does he want to ban 𝗧𝗵𝗶? The answer is yes. No 𝗧𝗷ers in game number 2.
Been there, done that. No, thank you, not today. Get rid of the late Torment lead that was so terrifying, and really force in to a more awkward lead for Gagbom, as he doesn't want to lead Ruler into a potential 𝗬𝗬𝗺. So he kind of has to go for, yeah, this 𝗬𝗵𝗶 and Acronox, go for the water cannon and the venom spread. That will be a lot of damage, potentially outspeeding 𝗬𝗬𝗺, maybe getting that kill very, very quickly. If the bans, yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter. This might be a bait, as 𝗬𝗬𝗺 does have a lot of really good swaps with that Turok, Gyalis, Volcrane in the back, all of which don't mind one bit the venom spread. Gyalis the only one who wouldn't mind the water cannon as much.
Yeah, I could definitely see that reciprocate a little bit of that mirroring damage. But yeah, this is looking like the good old 𝗂𝗀𝗏 Acronox opener that we're always used to seeing. And without any electric Temtems on MrRishi's side, that 𝗬𝗵𝗶 is looking just as good, if not better than your regular 𝗂𝗏𝗏. But yeah, Rawrzyyy, were you saying going into the 𝗬𝗬𝗺 or into the 𝗬𝗬𝗺 there? Because either way, I think it's going to be decent, right? I mean, venom spread following up looks quite devastating.
So I think it's really scary both ways here, because 𝗬𝗬𝗺 can very easily swap into a Gyalis that doesn't mind, and Valier can very easily bamboozle itself, and if it finds either faster than 𝗬𝗵𝗶 or faster than the venom spread, then it basically still does the exact same thing of disabling the attack. The plague does go first from 𝗬𝗬𝗺 though, as everybody stays in. 𝗬𝗵𝗶 without that extra speed might not be able to water cannon beforehand, but yes, it still does. We're still built for this. Water cannon on the Valier, venom spread on the Valier, and a dead Valier.
That is right, 10.3 remaining, which means a single toxic tick will be all it has left. So down the 𝗬𝗺 goes. So excellent read for Gagbom. Most people perhaps would have gone for the 𝗬𝗺 just to get that effective damage, but knowing where MrRishi's head was at, wanting to protect the 𝗬𝗺, catching the 𝗬𝗺 slipping up as soon as turn 1. Well played. Gagbom getting I wouldn't say monumentous lead, but a nice little momentum, I will say, for sure. Nice little kill early on. But with this Gyalis in, this Acronox doesn't feel all that great. I say that, but Soil's theme does pack quite the punch. So what if a tornado that we're seeing here? Let's see.
Oh wow, tornado down to 50%. I mean, 𝗬𝗬𝗺 has to OHKO Acronox here along with the helicopter kick. Otherwise, Soil's theme is killing this Gyalis. I think that's just gonna work now. Helicopter kick comes through. Acronox down to 52%. 𝗬𝗵𝗶 still barely survives. Hypoxia on the Acronox does confirm that kill. The spider just not strong enough to hold on. So that's one dead on both sides, but a big HP difference here in favor of Rishi, is that 𝗬𝗵𝗶 just doesn't have enough to hold on. Doesn't have the prio anymore either. All it can click is a gust, which won't really accomplish that much.
Yeah, so just coming down to a little bit of the speed there. 𝗬𝗬𝗺 outspeeding the Acronox there. If the Soil's theme would have been deployed there, the Gyalis, of course, would have gone all the way down, which would have favored Gagbom. But as we saw, the 𝗬𝗬𝗺 did indeed outspeed. Hypoxia confirming the kill, so well done. In comes the Gyalis of Gagbom now. And now, of course, only able to go with a nice little helicopter kick. And 𝗬𝗵𝗶, as you mentioned, he doesn't have any priority moves. Gyalis can go with a nice little sharp stabs to guarantee it, but just in case, trying to save it down the road. Instead, it's going to be the Volcrane, but this is a bit risky, is it not? Okay, the 𝗬𝗵𝗶 does retreat, so Rishi just knew exactly what Gagbom had in mind, and knew it just wasn't going to go out swinging with something like a little tsunami or sharp rain.
I think it's risky for different reasons than you might be thinking, though. Because helicopter kick will get Volcrane down low enough that a hook kick will kill, and there's no way 𝗧𝗵𝗶 can outspeed that, right? The senior Gag has to be probably still in that 300 speed tier range for the Goldsies, which is much faster than a 𝗧𝗵𝗶 can reach, especially pre-hook.
Yeah, well said, but the Stone Trench will be going first. Oh, wait, yeah, Stone Trench does go first. It does add that one-term evasion. The only glimmer of hope is that the Volern could go first and then the hook kick, but trying to outspeed a 𝗬𝗧𝗇 is another menace of its own, but it does, of course, go first from that aerobic Volern, which does mean the hook kick might just be good enough to follow up, and if this 𝗧𝗵𝗶 goes down, that is massive.
I guess we're a base speed 𝗬𝗧𝗇.
It looks that way, huh? It looks like, yeah, Volern, I don't think it had any speed just yet, right?
No, Volern, it had one. No, that was from Slingshot. So no, it didn't.
Yeah, so yeah, impressive to see a Volern so well TV trained. This is exactly what you want to do. You want to understand how your team synergize together. When you have Toxic Plume on the board with your Crystal Synergy, make sure that Toxic Plume connects first, gets the value. Or, I mean, in this situation worked well. I could only think in other situations, probably doesn't really hurt all that much. But just to pop the Bamboozle is working wonders. So well done so far for Gagbom, eliminating 2 entire Temtems off MrRishi. And with a couple of Temtems in that back line, not looking too bad. Not looking too bad if you're on the side of Gagbom, of course.
Yeah, 𝗬𝗶 here on the board. Crystal Bite hitting 𝗬𝗧𝗇. Crystal Bite hitting 𝗬𝗧𝗇. Deja vu once more. And a turbo choreography from 𝗬𝗬𝗽. That means 𝗬𝗶 does get its Tornado online again. But after that +2 speed, is it going to be able to go first? I think probably not. And if it's, yeah, it's just this double kill with a helicopter kick. That's pretty terrifying for Gagbom now. 𝗬𝗬𝗽 and Volorend versus 𝗬𝗬𝗽, 𝗬𝗬𝗇, and Tataru. Tataru being the only max HP for Rishi's side, but still with more Tems alive, with more speed to play with. I think that there's going to be too much damage dealt here for Gagbom to pull through.
Yeah, you know, that's a nice little speed advantage that he did, because now that 𝗬𝗧𝗇 is naturally being one of the fastest Temtems in the game, add 50% on top of that is exactly how that helicopter kick got the devastating double kill. So well done, as you mentioned, for MrRishi. But only 2 or did I see that right? I think Gagbom on his final 2 Temtems. In comes the Tataru, and this is what we were saying. MrRishi, no joke himself. He is ready. He is primed for the comeback. Eats the Hyperkinetic Strike decently well. The Hypoxia, where is it going? It's going for the Volern, taking it down about half of that remaining HP, but it does cost him to overexert. So rightfully goes for the Tataru. But, oh, this is interesting here. So he still has the 𝗬𝗧𝗇 in the back line. So probably just going to throw everything he can onto the Tataru, huh?
It would definitely make sense. Kill this Tataru now, hoping that, yeah, their 𝗬𝗬𝗽 stays in, takes this plume, takes the poison. And unfortunately for our boy here, he does survive just a little bit longer on both sides, but the poison will be killing Tataru this turn. And 𝗬𝗧𝗇 swapping back in, it does have a lot of damage still to deal.
The first aid kit does keep it alive. It neglects the hyperkinetic strike on the Volor in the following turn. You know, I don't think he was working with first aid kit before. That first aid kit has been coming in so incredibly clutch. Well done, because he was on death's door from the Toxic, and now he is looking not all that bad. He now has the Temtem advantage. How does MrRishi do it every single time? He looks like in a bad position and always manages to blow me away, because I believe a final held anchor might be looking good, unless he dies, of course, from the resin trap.
Ooh. Yeah, Tataru goes down. 𝗬𝗬𝗽 does overexert, which means I don't know what the holds are for 𝗬𝗧𝗇 right now, but either Crystal Bite or Hook Kick into Sharp Stabs is probably enough to kill.
I think
Crystal
so.
Bite, 69, down to 27. It'll be close. This might just be 𝗬𝗬𝗽. Oh, but the Hook Kick outspeeds.
There we have it, folks. MrRishi does indeed make us go into a game number 3. I feel like that turbo on the 𝗬𝗪𝗓 almost could have been that game-winning decision, right? Because it needed to outspeed in those situations with the helicopter kick. And then right at the end, maybe the sharp stab just wasn't enough. Perhaps you had to go for the hook kick. So incredible, guys. We are heading ourselves into a game 3. Let us know one more time. Are we MrRishi fans? Are we Gagbom fans? This is going to be a good one.
Yeah, I think that turbo was absolutely huge. I don't think sharp stabs would have been enough to kill, but I wasn't sure if a hook kick would outspeed the plague. So that was a big read, big brain from Rishi, knowing that he was fast enough after the turbo and pulling it back. If he wins off of this, then that was the biggest brain turbo we've seen in a very long time.
I could only agree more. And you know, perhaps the big winning condition was right here in the pick and bans. 𝗬𝗪 gave him an infinitely tough time in game number 1. He went ahead and bopped them in game number 2. And then it kind of was a little bit, I wouldn't say too smooth sailings, but of course he did end up winning that match. So it couldn't have been that bad. So doing it one more time, 𝗬𝗪 nowhere to be seen in our last final game of this entire tournament. How does MrRishi want to get things started? And interesting enough, Rawrzyyy, Gagbom, even though he just took the L, electing to pick orange side. So perhaps Gagbom doesn't like that first turn counter pick. He'll rather have a little bit of the counter pick at the very end. That is interesting.
Yeah, when you have a team like Gagbom's where it is so much built around its leads, you're not really counter picking the lead as often as you are counter picking at the very end to make sure that you've got the one Tem typing that works for you. I think, you know, if he leads 𝗬𝗪, he's always going to be bringing either Acronox or 𝗬𝗪. If he leads a Minnow, he's always going to be bringing one of the physicals, a 𝗬𝗪, a Ruler, a 𝗬𝗪, so that he can purgation onto it. I think that orange is probably the better side for a team like this that is so synergized around its turn 1.
Okay, I could definitely see that then. All right, and these guys looking to do exactly the same turn as game number 2, huh? And game number 2, we saw the Bamboozle apply onto the 𝗬𝗬𝗽, and then of course that water cannon toxic spread onto the 𝗬𝗪𝗧. Are we gonna have an identical turn 1, or do you think these guys switch it up? What if we get the Bamboozle on the 𝗬𝗪𝗧 this turn, and saving that bit of the water cannon doesn't get toxic there, so the venom spread won't virtually do anything onto it. But of course, Gagbom could read it and perhaps do the exact same thing on the 𝗬𝗬𝗽, so the mind games are starting really soon.
I think that Rishi has the Tems here, as long as he picks them, that make the perfect swap and give him a perfect different play for turn 1, so that he's not playing that game of, do we want to do things the same way where you technically won last time, or do I want to do things my way, and no matter what you do, this lead's not going to work.
Oh, this is gonna be good, guys. Final game, right? Everything has led to this point right here. Rishi has had incredible games up to here. Same could be said about Gagbom, of course. And this is it. Everything does get decided in our final game 3 of these grand finals. And this, as we said in the pick and bans, mind games have already started, right? The Bamboozle, where are you going? Or as you mentioned, perhaps the swap out, but the plague, everything stays in. So perhaps a little deja vu might be in store for us.
Yeah, so far everything was the same except for Soil Steam into 𝗬𝗪𝗧 instead of the Venom spread, potentially expecting a 𝗬𝗪𝗧 swap in with bait proc.
Yeah, I could almost see that, which is exactly what he did or could have done. As you mentioned, we were thinking potentially a swap out, but the Tornado, the 𝗬𝗪𝗧 stayed in. Tornado just not enough, down at about 8%. The plague will be enough, so down the 𝗬𝗵𝗶 goes. MrRishi getting a nice little early game kill, and with the hypnosis, Acronox not able to do anything for the next turn. This is impressive. Let's take a look what Gagbom might just be bringing out for this turn.
This feels like Rishi flexing a little bit. As now 𝗬𝗬𝗽 coming out for Gagbom doesn't fight against the 𝗬𝗬𝗽 on Rishi's side, which means overexert here if you want to for a Hypoxia, rest and Hypoxia next turn. There's really no downsides. I think the ruler could potentially be Thick Skin. I know Rishi's was earlier, but I don't think we saw Gagbom's trait. So if it is Thick Skin, then that could be a decent swap for him, but then you're ruler against 𝗬𝗬𝗽, and we all know how that went for months leading up to this point. So it kind of feels like Rishi just flexed on Gagbom and said, here, we're doing it my way this time.
Yeah, let's see. And, you know, I think I'm recalling a little Tardy Rush only because I remember commentating on it with the Yowler, right? We said Yowler and then Tardy Rush Rotor, but either or, we will see. But the 𝗬𝗪 coming in, the Plague, trying to take down the 𝗬𝗪 as much as possible. Let's see what damage MrRishi has in mind against Gagbom here for the second turn. Kind of locking in the 𝗬𝗪 for this one and the following turn, but the bait might just be proccing, nullifying every single one of those. Oh, never mind. You don't take away the capture. I do remember that. But this was a game-winning play for him in game number 2. Potentially a game-winning play in game number 3. We're going to have to find out, of course.
Yeah, another turbo making sure that his 𝗬𝗪 is going to outspeed things like Acronox, things potentially like 𝗬𝗬𝗽. We did see that happen before, so that could be pretty detrimental now, knowing that it doesn't matter what kind of prio Gagbom has, it's not going to be enough right now. 𝗬𝗬𝗽 retreating, saving itself for the ruler and Acronox later does feel like a really good play, and Tataru coming out to start working towards that held anger, get the major slash for next turn is also a very nice play. Crystal Bites back and forth. A lot of damage dealt. Resident Trap once again on 𝗬𝗪, doing just quite not enough. Holding on at 2.6%, mirroring, doing quite a lot back to 𝗬𝗬𝗽, and that means a hook kick is going to be killing pretty much anything now. If ruler or Acronox swaps in, it's very unhappy. If 𝗬𝗬𝗽 stays in, it dies.
Yeah, exactly right. That is the beautiful thing about that previous turbo, right? Effectively, all the 𝗬𝗪's moves right now are virtually 3 priority, right? Nice little 50% increase on every single thing he does. So as you mentioned, the 𝗬𝗬𝗽 not looking too good. You just throw a hook kick in that direction. There is no proper swamping, right? Acronox doesn't want to eat it. Rotor does not want to eat it as well. And if the 𝗬𝗬𝗽 stays in, as we saw before, a hook kick will indeed take it down. And this Tataru might just start trying to chip away at the 𝗬𝗪, right? I wonder though, Gagbom's 𝗬𝗪 felt rather speedy, so maybe it could be a sharp stab from Gagbom's 𝗬𝗪. Is that fast enough? It looks like it is not, so the hook kick will be catching the 𝗬𝗬𝗽. Down it goes. Oh, it survived, 𝗧𝗪𝗺, 1 HP.
𝗬𝗬𝗽 spread calced. We've been here. He was expecting all of these plays to go exactly as they have. What is your turn 5 prediction game like? Not as good as Gagbom's.
Unbelievable. That 𝗬𝗪 wasn't even like minus defense, but just in case, I think Rishi clicked that right hand side, even if it was a swap out or if it lived. But of course, he definitely wishes that major slash went onto the 𝗬𝗪 instead, because look at that 𝗬𝗪, already still at 95%. Oh, that was devastating for Rishi. He definitely needed that kill. Perhaps not desperately needed it, but it definitely would have favored him a bit more going forward.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, just either keeping 𝗬𝗪 alive or keeping a little bit more HP on Tataru, it would have been very big for Rishi to get the kill. But Gagbom surviving with it, killing 𝗬𝗪, doing half damage to Bridget, and trapping it in, might be enough. We'll have to see how much 𝗬𝗬𝗽 is able to accomplish now, because 𝗬𝗬𝗽 into the ruler and into the Acronox is going to be incredible. But instead, targeting down the 𝗬𝗪, that kind of makes the Volcrane in the back useless, so I'm a little bit surprised that that was the play.
Yeah, you're so right, because wait a second, he does have the Volcrane, but still electing to go. Perhaps he just feels like right here, right now is such a problem for him. And yeah, we see that devastating Crystal Bite, but the turbo choreography making sure that Tataru and 𝗬𝗬𝗽 can get off something. But the Drill impact, even despite the nerf, it might just be enough, but no, it is not. 12% still remaining. But I don't know. And, you know, I'm usually a really big fan of these turbos, but I'm almost wishing he got a bit more damage across because he is a bit behind. He needs to start taking away a bit more of these HP. If he had something like a bit of hypno control, I could almost see his justify these speeds. But 𝗧𝗵𝗶's already down to the last attack needed. Okay, but it does indeed save it. So a +5 looks like it could be useful down the road. But here goes the 𝗧𝗪. I think perhaps the resin trap to just get it in the realm. But no, continuing to target down the 𝗬𝗚𝗚. So interesting.
Helicopter kick onto 𝗧𝗪 along with a goring onto 𝗬𝗺, surviving on point 2, getting the first aid kit. Tardy rush on 𝗧𝗪 is pretty scary, but since goring was just clicked, I think nothing is stopping this stone trench. As we've already seen, this 𝗧𝗪 is faster than Senior Gag. So it will be stone trench to kill 𝗬𝗚𝗚 or do quite a bit of damage onto the 𝗧𝗪 and Acronox that would swap in and protect 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗚𝗏. But if the swap comes through, then what's 𝗧𝗪 doing on this board? All he can hope for is a hook, maybe a flaming meteorite that's heavily resisted.
Yeah, I think so. It looks like it's going to be a major slash. I'm not too sure if it overexerted, but let's see how much damage it does. Not too much, virtually about 30%. Those stone trends just to add that evasion. You don't want to be caught with something like a stone ball. So bringing about under 50%. What does 𝗧𝗪 decide to do? It does pop the bamboozle, so it doesn't have it for the following turn. And 𝗬𝗺 did not overexert. Just to point that out, 𝗬𝗺 did not overexert. And it actually almost went down, right? We're talking about 0.2% for both of these guys, right? So 𝗬𝗍 getting a little bit of that 0.2 living on that edge, if you will. But okay, looking at this bigger picture, oh, 𝗬𝗍's Temtems are also low, are they not? But Ninja Jutsu, is it enough? Followed up with something that 𝗬𝗺 has. It looks like it's... Oh, never mind. It's going to go for the 𝗧𝗪. And yeah, if 𝗬𝗺 clicked anything, I guess he was just going to go down on his own. So might as well save a little bit of the stamina.
Yeah, resting, I think, means Held Anger is back online again. Valier swapping in potentially to boozle 𝗬𝗺, make sure that it gets Held Anger and Major Slash off. It does have that plus speed, so it's potentially going to outspeed 𝗬𝗚𝗚. If it can kill both 𝗧𝗪 and 𝗬𝗚𝗚, then 𝗬𝗚𝗚 outspeeding has to kill Acronox in one, which I think it can from here.
Yeah, either the Acronox or the... Oh, but you know what? 𝗧𝗪 with the Tardy Rush is not going to be possible. But at +5 speed, though. At +5 speed. But it looks like it doesn't matter. But it does. The 𝗧𝗪 is just too tanky of a Temtem. Man, just little by little, Gagbom pressuring out MrRishi's entire team. And now there is just a lonely 𝗬𝗚𝗚. That means, I don't know, 𝗬𝗚𝗚 at 12% versus the Acronox at 75%. It has +5 speed, but it doesn't have special attack, of course. So let's see if it kills. If it doesn't, it is indeed over. But it is over because 𝗧𝗪 surviving and Acronox does indeed close it out. So it was still an epic series. Congratulations, guys. Can we get a nice little round of applause? GGGG. Gagbom is the champion for the Plus Tournament 54.